Welcome to the second round or second episode of this Army Discussion Forum. Today we speak about the science of mantras, and we will try and kind of demystify the whole, concept or the mumbo jumbo around mantras, so to say. The Sanskrit word mantra has two parts. Etymologically, so to say, man means a state of profound meditation, and tra means the process of release. So, mantra put together, the word means something that has been released when a person is in deep meditation. And what is that is released? So, when ancient rishis, or so to say the sages that we refer to as, when they were in deep states of meditation, some sounds got revealed to them. Now, what were these sounds? These sounds were not man-made sounds. These sounds were something which had kind of no cause. They were the cosmic sounds, which are referred to as the anahat nad. Anahatanad. That means those which do not have a source. Anahatanad. Now, when the rishis or these seers of old times heard these sounds, somewhere they wanted to relive the experience. And when they were in deeper states of meditation, probably more and more sounds got released. And over a period of time, they realized that these sounds have certain beneficial effects on themselves, on their minds, on their bodies. It helps them focus better. It helps them expand their consciousness. It helps them touch base with the supreme consciousness, so to say, the cosmic consciousness, so to say. And when they realized these benefits, then a question came to their minds as to how can we now make the common man or woman experience the benefits of these sounds? And that's the dilemma that they were caught in at that time. And then they realized that these primordial sounds, or these anahata nadas, which they heard, should be also made available to the normal common human being. And that pursuit led them to put words into mantras. Now, the words that the mantras, the words that we know of mantras are actually words put in by these, so to say, old scientists, rishis, etc., such that those sounds could replicate, the words when uttered could replicate the sounds that they had heard in their deep states of meditation. So the words were put into these mantras to be able to replicate those sounds which they had heard in their deep states of meditation, so that when the words are uttered, similar sounds or similar vibrations could be induced in the body and in the brain of the individual uttering these words. So that's the basic science or the logic of mantras. And that means the meanings of mantras have no real meaning, actually, so to say. The vibrations that the mantras create are the real thing. And that's the beneficial part of the whole thing. The words have been put later into the mantras to be able to replicate those sounds, or to be able to recreate those sounds within the human consciousness, which those people had heard in their states of fusion with the supreme consciousness, say samadhi state or whatever you call it. So what they heard in their deep states of meditation, they wanted the common man or common woman to experience. And that's where the words were put in. Again, I'm repeating, the words were put into those mantras to be able to replicate those vibrations, and the common mankind would be able to experience the benefits of those vibrations. So that's basically the science behind the whole genesis of the tradition of mantras. Now, that brings us to the fact that what do mantras do? Now, mantras are basically sound vibrations, and everything in this world, the origin of it is energy, and the most basic manifestation of energy is in the way form of sound energy. Energy vibrates, and the first manifestation of that vibration is sound. Heat, hydro, etc. come later. The first manifestation is sound. So sound is one of the most primordial forms of energy, which existed even before creation happened. When creation happened with the Big Bang, what existed, it is said that all energy or all energy was concentrated into a small point, which is called bindu. And when that energy could not remain within that bindu, it exploded and it took the form of matter. And it's still, the whole universe is expanding, energy is getting converted into matter, etc., 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 etc. So the most primordial form of energy is sound energy. And when we can connect with those sounds, the primordial sounds, that's when one can achieve oneness with that, so to say, supreme consciousness, or as we discussed last time, consciousness is that vast data bank of knowledge which one can dip into, which kind of knows everything, which forms all kinds of universal laws, which governs all the physics, chemistry, biology that we know of, and much beyond that. So mantras are a way to connect to that primordial frequency, to that primordial vibration. Now, when we in the human kind of the human body have a brain that is pulsating, there are electrical neurons firing up, down, that's all that is happening. Our heart is pulsating, our intestine, peristaltic motion is happening. So all of that is a vibration. So every organ in the body is vibrating. And a sum total of all these vibrations creates a basal frequency for a human being. Now, every human being is made up of different emotions, different stresses, different thoughts, and hence the vibrations of an individual are unique to that individual. Now, when it is said that one should chant a mantra which is specifically given to an individual by a person who is a knowledgeable person, say somebody who understands the basic science and the philosophy and the spirituality behind the mantra tradition, supposedly called a guru, is the one who can give you a mantra. Now, what is so specific about an individual having an individual mantra? The logic is that each individual has this specific basal frequency, which the mantra that is given by the guru, kind of when one utters that mantra, one can achieve that frequency which corresponds to each individual's basal frequency. Now, when that mantra, when uttered, induces that frequency within that individual, naturally one kind of stabilizes into that basal frequency of ours, and which helps us be in harmony with nature around. Now, how is this basal frequency determined? So if a guru is giving you a mantra, he or she will ask your birth date and birth time. Now, the time that you were born at, the universe was vibrating at a certain frequency. At a certain other time, the universe was vibrating at some other frequency. Now, the time of your birth and the date of your birth kind of determines the basal frequency that you were born with. And if a person, a known individual, a knowledgeable individual, can capture that, he or she can capture your basal frequency and will give you a mantra accordingly, which is your individual mantra. And chanting of that mantra can help us reach that basal frequency, be in harmony with that basal frequency. Now, why should we kind of be in synchrony with that basal frequency, because when we lead our lives, we undergo a lot of emotions, stresses, a lot of electrical neurons are firing here and there, and the basal frequency is going on and off here and there, and it is making us lose our peace of mind. So it is essential to get to that basal frequency, and that's where this individual mantra given by a guru helps. Now, this is at the mental level. At the body level, what happens? As we discussed some time back, that each organ of the body has a certain vibration, which means it is vibrating at a frequency. The heart is pumping, pulsating at 72 pulses per minute. Your intestines are contracting, relaxing, etc., aiding digestion. Peristaltic movement is happening. Every other organ has a pulsation, right? Now, when a specific organ starts pulsating at a frequency which is away from its natural frequency, diseases start manifesting. This is the yogic philosophy behind diseases manifesting. When certain organs go awry beyond their basic band of their pulsating frequency, that's when disease occurs. Now, how can these organs, if these organs can be brought back to their normal frequency, the disease can be overcome? That's the philosophy of a lot of yogic therapy, a lot of Nada yoga, Swara yoga, all of that. Now, knowing those frequencies which will bring that organ back into its basal frequency will bring health back to that individual. That's the simple logic behind all of this. And there are certain mantras which can induce those frequencies, and if chanted repeatedly over multiple rounds, maybe 108 rounds, and one round is 108 chantings, and such multiple such rounds can actually induce that frequency back to those organs, bringing them back to health. That's the basic logic behind this therapy, mantra therapy, if you may call it. It can be called as quantum therapy also. So that's the kind of benefits that one can get at the physical level also. It is then said that the Mahamrityunjaya mantra is a mantra which can be chanted for the benefit of for the health of individuals. Why so? Because when it is chanted with the perfect intonation, perfect pronunciation, etc., it induces those frequencies which promote good health in an individual. So it is said and is commonly believed that chanting of Mahamrityunjaya mantra around a sick person a few thousand times can get health back to that individual. So Mahamrityunjaya mantra is possibly, again I'm using the word possibly, is a mantra which induces that frequency which gets health back, and various organs can fall back into their natural rhythms, thus getting overcoming the disease. Now, coming back to the mental aspect of mantra chanting. Om chanting, Om is supposed to be the primal mantra, so to say, the most basic mantra. Why? Because it is said that the vibrations of the universe match with the vibrations induced when one chants Om. So Om is referred to as Pranav. Pranav means something that existed absolutely in the beginning. Absolutely in the beginning means when, even before creation happened. So the bindu through which the Big Bang happened and the universe got created, that had vibrations. And those vibrations, it is said that Om, chanting the mantra Om, induces those vibrations. Hence, Om chanting is supposed to induce those vibrations in the body, which can get an individual in sync with the cosmic vibrations, with the primordial vibration, something that existed even before creation. Now, even to this Om chanting, there is a very simple science, and scientific experiments have been conducted that when you chant O, Om is combined, Om comprises three different syllables, O, U, and Mo, right? O and U together become O. So when you chant O, alpha waves are induced in the brain. And when you chant M, theta waves are induced in the brain. And it is scientifically proven that when alpha waves get induced in our brains, it leads to states of deep relaxation. And when theta waves get induced in our brain, it leads to immense forms of creativity and transformative thinking happening within the brain. So inspiration and creativity get induced by theta waves, and deep relaxation gets induced by alpha waves. Alpha waves get induced when you chant the O part of Om, and when you chant the M part of Om, the theta waves get induced. So Om is simultaneously inducing a deep state of relaxation as well as a creative, imaginative kind of a state, which leads to a lot of creativity coming out. So, today, in the last 30 to 40 years, these experiments have been done, and the benefits of these kinds of mantras have started getting scientific evidence as well, which our ancient rishis, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years back, with experimentation, they kind of they found through experimentation. So that's basically the kind of science behind the chanting of mantra. And what does chanting of mantra? Now let us go back to that guru mantra which we spoke about, that a guru gives to an individual. What does it do at an individual level? What does a mantra do beyond the sounds, etc.? It just proves, it just gives you a point of focus when maybe when you're doing nothing, when you are actually doing something. If that mantra is going on at the back of your mind, naturally your brain or your mind is going to be focused on a particular thing. And when your mind is focused on that mantra chanting subconsciously happening within your brain, it is naturally going to be cutting off the clutter from your mind. It is naturally going to kind of take off the noise from the mind, and it is going to centralize your mind, bringing in clarity of thought, better decision making, better creativity, etc., etc., etc. All those benefits that kind of follow because of this chanting. Now, once again, I would like you to take back to the fact that the words in the mantras have been put later. So let us not get confused or overemphasize the importance of the meaning of the mantra. The mantras actually have no meaning. If you were to really understand the basic science behind mantras, they don't have any meaning. The sound induced by the mantra is what is the real thing is. So if anybody translates a mantra into some other language, the power of the mantra goes away. The mantra which the original language in which the mantra was supposed to be chanted is the one that will induce those vibrations in the human body and the human brain, which will lead to all those benefits that a mantra gets. When it is translated literally, the meaning is translated in different languages, but when you speak in different languages, the tongue movement is different, the lip movement is different, and hence the frequencies induced are different, and hence the benefit or the vibrations induced are different. So when somebody talks about translating a mantra into XYZ languages, it kind of loses the power. So remember, the specific mantra to be chanted in its original specific language is an important thing. So these are some points that I thought we would kind of put forth before actually doing some practice and then getting into some kind of questions, discussions, etc. So now that we've talked about mantras inducing vibrations in the body, And we also spoke about how Om chanting takes you to the kind of induces certain frequencies in the body, certain frequencies, vibrations in the body and the brain, which take you to that cosmic primordial vibration. Let us try and experience something with two practices. So let us practice Brahmari chanting, Brahmari with our ears closed. So you can use your two fingers to close your ears, close your eyes, and we will chant Brahmari. Brahmari is the sound of the honeybee. Mm, that sound. All right. So we will do this 11 times, 11 rounds of Brahmari with ears and eyes closed. So get ready. Use your first finger to close your ears, eyes closed. Breathe in. Let's start all together. Mm. After your 11 chants, keep your ears closed and just try to listen to the sounds within. Keep your ears closed, keep your ears closed, and listen to the sounds induced by Brahmari within. Keep your eyes closed, ears closed. You can gradually open your eyes and release the fingers, open your ears, and maybe some certain internal sounds could be heard after Brahmari chanting. Now, that's when you are actually getting to the inside, getting to know what is happening inside, because there is a whole universe functioning within our bodies itself, and that kind of leads us to that connection. Now let us practice Om chanting. Uh, First, we will chant Om 11 times. Then we will chant medium paced Oms. So follow me. And then after those medium paced Oms, we will chant Om mentally, visualizing the image of Om in front of our closed eyes at the eyebrow center. And then just experience whatever experiences you get. That's an individual experience. Just try to be still after the chanting is over, after 5 to 7 minutes, and just try to be still for the next couple of minutes and see what you feel within. All right, so let us sit in a comfortable cross-leg position. If you are on your chairs, make yourself comfortable, eyes closed. Breathe in. We'll begin with Om chanting 11 rounds, and then followed by medium paced Oms, and then mental Om chanting. Keep following my instructions. Breathe in. Last round of Om. Now we'll continue with medium paced Om chanting. Follow me. Om, 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 the pace of Om. Om, 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 Om. Gradually reduce the volume of the chanting and go inwards with continuing to chant Om mentally. Om, 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 Om. Visualize the image of Om at the eyebrow center. Stop the mental chanting, maintain the silence, just be silent with your closed eyes and feel the vibrations within the body. Feel those vibrations induced within the body, the pulsations. Gradually practice a round of palming and then open your eyes in the darkness of your palms. Those vibrations or those pulsations that you feel after at the end of this chanting is kind of a glimpse of what chanting can do, what those vibrations, how those vibrations can be induced within the body. So this would just to kind of give a glimpse of what happens when a mantra is chanted at a regular basis. Now, if it can happen in 5 minutes of chanting, imagine what can happen with regular chanting, maybe 10 minutes of chanting every day, morning or before going to sleep, whatever time that suits you. Best practiced early in the morning and just before going to bed. So, with that, we can open this for any comments, questions, experience sharing, anything. You can unmute yourself and maybe we can have a discussion.
I have a question. You said that the gurus give a particular mantra.
Yeah, who is this? I can't see you.
Tarjani.
Okay, yeah.
So the gurus give a particular mantra at a time to certain number of disciples, and it is to be kept secret.
Yeah.
Now for synchronization, is it possible that all of them have the same mantra?
No. I mean, each individual is made up differently, constitutionally different. Birth time is different. The constellation under which that person was born is different. All of that is different. So maybe two individuals may have the same mantra, but all of them will not be given the same mantra at the same time because constitutionally each one is different.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are these common mantras like Mahamrutyunjaya mantra, Gayatri mantra, etc. They are chanted in unison, and when it gets chanted in real unison, those vibrations induced can really have a very overpowering, powerful impact, powerful effect.
Okay.
One question, you said that
Thank you.
Can't hear you.
are at one moment. Can you hear me?
A little better, but not very well.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Lakshmi. I just wanted to know, so usually when the guru gives the mantra to the disciple, that's the bija mantra, they say that you should not say it loud. It should be chanted mentally. So in that case, how does the sound? There's no sound. So how does the vibrations? How are the vibrations generated at such times?
Just now, even when we chanted Om, last phase was just mental chanting, right? Yeah. And still, you could feel the pulsations, vibrations at the end of it all.
That is, I think, because we did the loud ones earlier, and that
now there are different pitches that mantras have to be chanted at. There is something called Vaikari. Vaikari is allowed. Upanshu is mumbling, and last one is Mansik Japa. Now, the mantra that a guru is giving you is not to be disclosed, which doesn't mean that it can't be chanted aloud. You can chant it aloud in isolation, right? So now there are also stages of mantra chanting, in the sense that when we are kind of just beginning, it is always good to chant the mantra aloud. That is Vaikari mode. You can hear it. But as our brain gets conditioned to it, we can go to the subtler modes, which is the Upanshu and Mansik mode, right? So it is a progression. Not telling anybody doesn't mean it can't be chanted aloud. It can be chanted aloud when you're in isolation. The reason why these people say that don't disclose it, because what happens is then everybody becomes a guru. Somebody gives me a mantra and I start feeling good about it. So I come and tell you, boss, you also start chanting this mantra. And it may not have the desired effect that it has on me, because your basal frequency is different. So that's why they say keep it secret. I mean, don't divulge it to anybody. There's no great secret to the whole thing, because human beings are, we are very gossipy in nature. We want to kind of, in normal parlance, we want to kind of give gyan to everybody who comes in front of us. So so that we don't fall into that trap. That's why they say don't divulge it to anybody. That's the reason. And unless, I mean, 80% of us, unless we are shown the stick, we don't follow the rules, right? So that's the reason why they say don't divulge it to anybody.
Kaustubh, I had a question that you said that mantras should be chanted in a particular way.
Yes.
There has to be a way. How do you know which is the correct way? Because if you see a particular Om chanting is also done in different ways. Sometimes A is stretched, U is stretched, Ma is stretched. So how do you get the maximum benefit? What is the correct way of chanting? How to go about that?
That's where one needs to really learn that chanting under somebody who knows it. That's where the whole significance of getting that knowledge from a knowledgeable individual comes into the picture. Now, as we discussed, U, Ma, right? So now, if one can really understand the science of Om chanting, just let us take the Om chanting itself. When you are a painter, right? I know you, so you paint, correct? So you are probably looking for some inspiration sometime for your brush to start going, correct? Yeah. Now the science behind a uma is that chanting a long ma induces that theta frequencies which correspond to creativity and inspiration. So one can actually, if one understands the whole science behind it, one can actually do or induce those vibrations whenever required. Get the point? When you are stressed, you want to experience deep relaxation. At that time, the could be stretched because that induces alpha waves in the brain. So all this really needs a deep scientific understanding. And many times it gets passed around with a lot of mumbo jumbo. There is a lot of mixture of religion put into it. Mantras basically have no religion. What is the religion behind any of the science? This is absolutely nothing to do with religion at all. But why religion is being put then once again, to put some restrictions on people so that people follow it the correct way and this and that. All these that's the mumbo jumbo behind the science. But the science, I mean, the basic philosophy is extremely scientific behind mantra chanting.
Yeah.
Now, how to get those ones? One has to really go into the depth. One has to study that, and that can be done with the help of somebody who knows it, etc., etc., etc. Sorry, yeah, Mr. Shailesh.
This is Shailesh Mehta. Just one question further responding to what Vijay had asked is that how one come to know what is the right pronunciation and what is the right way of chanting any mantra. As you rightly said that you have to go to a knowledgeable person and find out the way and study yourself. But then if you just look at the sources or information available on the net, any specific mantra, for example, Mahamintrujay mantra or any other mantra is chanted in different ways and different, So can you just guide on any specific website which gives a near perfect way of chanting the mantra? The second part, if I can continue with my question, is that you said mantra, the words are put afterwards by our ancient sages. So they heard something and they memorize that and they try to put the word afterwards. So what I feel is that if any mantra is nothing but the vibration because of the sound waves, because the way it is pronounced, whether it is low frequency or high frequency, these sound waves come from that specific word. Had it been is it in Sanskrit language or any other language? So the moment you change the word to any other word, actually everything changes.
Yeah.
So I feel that uh, the the sur of mantra, the lay of mantra, the rhythm of mantra is important. Correct?
Of
And
course, yeah. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Rhythm does not produce the vibration.
No.
It is the pronunciation of Sanskrit word which produces the vibration. Like if you say in Sanskrit, any typical word like, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So this Bhur Bhuva Swaha would definitely create a certain vibration. And if these words are not there, those this particular lay or sur, that won't create a vibration. So I think these two questions is the thing.
The first question is whatever goes around on the net is not necessarily the truth. There are these schools of chanting, Vedic chanting schools, etc. And the real knowledgeable ones don't advertise on the net. So finding these people is really tough. There are some schools in Bangalore, there's some schools in Chennai, there's some schools in Pune also, which they're not publicity hungry, and that's the problem with our Indian culture also. We don't go out and display what we have. So that's one point. So finding these people on the net will be difficult, but there definitely are schools which teach chanting in the perfect way. There are sessions which happen at Swami Chinmayanand Mission also.
Yes.
Teach kids, small kids, about chanting, and there are specific dedicated schools also. But nowadays they get bad names, as you know what I'm talking about in the political scenario. So finding these schools is the crux to the whole thing. Now coming to the second part, the words definitely create the vibrations, but why are the words uttered? To create the vibrations. And why do you want to create the vibrations? Because those vibrations are the realized frequencies or sounds or vibrations by those rishis, munis, whoever they were, in their deep states of meditation. And they realize that inducing these vibrations in the body or the brain has beneficial effects on ourselves. So now how does the rishi make a common man understand or get the benefit of those vibrations? Then they searched for words which create those vibrations, and that's when the mantras got a written form. Like, what is the origin of the Sanskrit language? It is said that sage Panini, who is the premier grammarian, the originator of the Sanskrit language, he heard Shiva's Damru, Shiva playing the Damru, right? And from those sounds, he created the Sanskrit vowels and consonants and the 46 letters of Sanskrit. So basically, it is the sound which is significant. The word is a play of your tongue movement, your lip movement, etc., 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 right? Which will induce those vibrations in the body. So, and then the words were also formed later, as you might have got that Panini created the Sanskrit language based on Shiva's Damru sounds, which means the meanings also came later. But the origin is the induction of the inducement of those vibrations. That's where the words were put in. So when we translate mantras, they sound they sound very great. Great singers sing mantras. The music directors take over. And if the, like, a classic example, our national anthem, Jana Gana Mana He, right? 59 seconds is the duration in which it is normally sung. Now, when, sorry to take the name, but A.R. Rahman stretched it to some 1.5 or 2 minutes. What was the effect of the same national anthem? Is the point? So music directors also need to understand that some things can't be tampered with. They have to be maintained. That intonation has to be maintained, and that's what gets taught in these Vedic schools, etc. And probably that is also a reason why I feel that our ancient texts were not written. We don't have documentation.
Yes.
Because they were passed on from one person, guru to shishya, in the ear, because
Yes.
there was emphasis on pronunciation and intonation. And that's why it also remained secret. That's why it didn't spread also. But that whole emphasis on intonation and pronunciation kind of also took us away from really documenting stuff. And hence probably we don't find much documentation of our ancient texts also, which the Westerners now are doing. Plus, the printing press in somewhere in the 1500s, etc., just spread the kind of, it was the internet moment of the 15th century, right? Information spreading around. So
Logical that you cannot document a sound, you can document words. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
So probably at that time they felt that if we write it down, the essence will be lost.
No. The authenticity should be maintained.
Sorry?
The original and the authenticity of the mantra should be always maintained.
Yes. So there was that, fastidiousness about the authenticity, etc. And that's where it's not undocumented, nothing wrong with it. I mean, from a modern perspective, we might say that, oh, it hasn't spread, so it is, it doesn't, appeal to everybody, etc., etc. Well, the paradigms are different of how to judge it.
Yeah, I'm Srinivasan here.
In addition to the same question, Kaustubh, when you say that the lyrics or the words are of not importance, but when you chant any mantra with the words and the word has meaning to it, when you hear those meanings or when you internalize those meanings, there is a feeling of how we call it
Connection.
abhav is created in you,
Yes.
emotion is created you, which that bhav leads to the rasa, what we call in dance form, we say that we reach that rasa is created. That is the epitome of creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Now,
Yeah, I'm
how do you
Srinivasan.
relate this?
yeah. So, but why was this created? Because those rishis must have realized that for the common person to understand anything without a verbal meaning, without cognition, is not possible, right? So that's where the meanings and the bhava was given so that the connection could happen easier. The other point. So these are, I mean, marketing gimmicks. In corporate language, it would be, how do I connect with my audience? How do I connect with my market? If I can't speak the language of the market, nobody buys my products, right? So if probably the rishis, munis would have said, "Ki Baba, sound, imitate my sound," people would have given up after some time. Nahi hota hai humse. So what to do? Then, over generations of experience, the meaning and the inspiration has been put into it to be able to connect with the common humanity. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Srinivasan, you were saying something.
See, we do Vedic chanting every fortnight for Lord Shiva. Rudra Jabam we do. So this Rudra Jabam we do in chorus.
I hear you very well. Can't hear you, Mr. Srinivasan, very well.
See, we do this Vedic chanting in the
Yeah.
temple every fortnight, and we do Rudra Jabam for Lord Shiva. So in this, as you rightly said, each letter differs. One letter has to be put in a high tone, the other letter has to be put in a low tone, one medium tone. So those things are not depicted in the literature properly.
Yes.
So it is only through the gurus you learn this. Otherwise, it is impossible to learn this. So this is very important. But what I want to say is, we do in a chorus and we speak very loudly. We do the chanting very loudly, and the entire atmosphere is with total. This one is there. Vibration is there.
Yeah.
So it is not that we keep the sound within ourselves. We speak loudly. That is what I want to say.
Yeah. So that intonation and the vibrations are important. And this is irrespective of religion. Huh?
Yeah, it is irrespective of religion. It is not there, but actually it is from Sanskrit. It is everything is Sanskrit only.
No, not just that. Even you go to a church, the choir boys sing in perfect unison.
Correct.
And if you go to a church anytime, the choir boy who moves beyond the age of 13 is taken out of that group. Why? Because his vocal cords have started becoming hoarse and he will not be able to sing in that frequency, that band, the hymns, etc. Chanting will not happen. So it is across religions, and that is a mantra, right? That also is a mantra. That hymn is a mantra. If you see across all religions, major religions, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, the word ma is a very significant one in chanting. Om, Amen, Amin.
Amen.
So that mah, which we talked about as inducing the theta waves in the brain, etc., that logic cuts across all religions. And people try to kind of create rift between each other by using X, Y, Z, and this logic and that logic. This is better in my religion, this is not here. All that is, I think we should keep away from all of that. But it's a science which cuts across all religion. And don't you think the origin of religion is science? Is scientific? Don't you think the origin of all religions is scientific?
Yes, yes. Actually, it is logic basically, but unfortunately, that anyway, logic and science is same.
Yeah.
Any logical reasoning is science only, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And all religions began with the worship of elements of nature. Later on, they kind of got the tone of parochialism and possessiveness. So that's when the kings and the clergy, the priests and the royalty came together to control the crowd, to control humanity. That's when stringent rules were brought in, and this would happen if you don't do this, and ostracizing and this and all. That was all just meant to control, and religion got a bad name after that. But origin of religion is all science. All right.
Kaustubh, is it okay for me to share two of my experiences?
Please go ahead. Go ahead, Geeta ji. Go ahead.
Number one, I used to have some obsessive thoughts in mind long back. And when I started doing the Guru Mantra, when I received my Guru Mantra, and when I started with that thought went away just like that within a month or so. And even if I want to, such thoughts don't come into my mind again anymore. And that showed me the power of the mantra. And then number two, I went to Sharda temple in Chembur once, and I wanted to learn how to chant Lalita Sahasranamam. They do it on Fridays there. So for the first time, I sat there and I was chanting Lalita Sahasranamam with everybody. And as it was the first time, I must have paid more attention and was into the mantras. And after the chanting was over, immediately after the chanting was over, somebody came to me and asked me, where am I coming from? And I just couldn't answer her because I was totally blank, and I didn't know who I am and where I am coming from. So those two, I later on when I thought about it, it surprised me how mantras can influence you and how it can, as you correctly said, it can remove all the clutters from your mind totally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. That just proves the vibration, because a thought is also a vibration, right?
Yes.
Any thought that comes to our mind in our brain creates certain nerve impulses, neuron firing, etc. It's a waveform. So, maybe disturbing thoughts have distracting random wave patterns. A mantra kind of brings all of that into synchronicity, into synchronism, because it's finally a beat, it's a chant, it's a vibration. Right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody is trying to say something. I can't hear you. Somebody is trying to say something.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, please. Yeah. Who's that?
Sunita.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh, what's the problem?
Yeah. Go ahead. We can hear you now.
One question is like, is mass chanting more powerful than individual chanting?
It depends on what you are doing it for. No? If you are kind of doing it, if there is a famine, if there is some mass pandemic, epidemic, etc., then okay, people coming together and chanting in unison will have a strong effect. If there is an individual, you are trying to manage your mind, you are trying to manage your circumstances.
See, this Mrutyunjaya mantra, all of us know in the yoga class. And we say that at the mass chanting 3 times, and Usha recovered. Usha, our teacher, was
Yes,
not
yes.
well, and we are doing it for her.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
that is one experience which all of us had it. You know,
Yes,
like
yes,
we
yes.
really chanted, and we felt because of that she recovered, and she is all right now. That is one experience we had of mass chanting and the result of it.
Yeah, and the condition that she was in after the accident,
Exactly.
immediately after
Exactly.
the accident, doctors had recommended some 17, 18 surgeries.
And she is so perfect now, you know, like
Without any
so
surgery.
I talk to her now also.
Yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to ask you is like the sound effect. Now, during the Navratri days, most of the South Indians, they sing this Ai Giri Nandini, that particular song. I was enchanted with the sound of it, and I started learning it. So the sound effect is so very powerful.
Absolutely.
Now, I didn't understand meaning of it to begin with, but just that chanting itself attracted me, and I started learning that. So that can also happen. And the last question is, WhatsApp University is saying that if you are suffering from heart problems, say Vittal, Vittal, Vittal. How do you take to that?
I think the fact that you use the word the origin as WhatsApp University.
Because from there, from where we get all that information is WhatsApp. So
the best response to that is no comments. The moment you say the origin is WhatsApp University.
no, one more suggestion is when you announce the subject, you recommend some books also. So
Yeah, can I request to elaborate Madam's experience with Usha Karnik ji? What happened exactly, and how you chant Mrityunjay mantra? And because it's a real life experience which I am not aware of. So
yeah, would somebody want to take over? Megha, would you want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, this Usha is not Usha Karnik, madam. This is about one teacher of ours. She was coming to the yoga class, and while she was crossing the road, she was actually hit very badly by a heavy vehicle. So she was immediately rushed to the hospital. When I was there, I heard the doctors say that she's going to need multiple surgeries. Multiple surgeries on her face, her eye, her shoulder was broken, her hip was broken. And later on, she was transferred to Leelavati Hospital. Leelavati Hospital said, we can't operate on her because she was in coma. So they said, little bit she has to show signs of movement before we operate on her. And she remained in coma for about 3.5 months, where the consulting doctors, I think I spoke to the leading doctor, and he said, look, there is a 0.0001% chance of a person like this recovering. It's a 1 in a million case that it recovers. And after 3.5 months, because they waited for her to come out of coma, so she had recovered without a single surgery, all limbs moving, her eye was fine, her entire face had recovered. You could not make out, because the day one when I saw her face was smashed completely. And when she walked out of hospital, face was all fine, not a single surgery. And I think at that time, in the class, 100, more than 100 people, 3, 4 times we chanted Mahamrutyunjay mantra, 108 times. And probably that was one of the most touching Mahamrutyunjay mantra chanting, because everybody loved her. So they just poured their heart out and chanted Mahamrutyunjay mantra. And today she's in a state that she's able to do all her asanas also, besides leading a normal life. So 3.5 months being in complete coma, recovering without a single surgery, hip fracture, shoulder fracture, face, multiple fractures, eye socket fracture, nothing needing surgery. So we all thought it must be some effect. Mahamrityunjay mantra was played at her bedside in the ICU while she was in coma almost continuously. So, of course, doctors' expertise, but doctors really could not do anything other than just keep her on a machine. So there was no treatment being given to her. It was just on a ventilator. She was there. So this was one very grand experience we had with the Mahamrityunjay mantra.
Ask for her, like, content in some facility which you gave from the hospital.
Can't hear you, Mr. Shailesh.
You can't hear me now?
Now better, now better. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to ask that the group of 100 people chanted Mahamrityunjay mantra for her near the bed or in some other area?
In our class.
Okay, okay.
And the mobile phone with the chanting was kept near her bedside.
I want to share something.
Yes, please.
Okay, I follow Buddhism. I'm just following Buddhism. So it happened in 2016. My sister had taken to Buddhism, just following Buddhism philosophy, not like a religion. So I was at her house and then I saw them chanting. In Buddhism, what they have is they chant from 5 minutes to they can chant for till 3 hours also. So the chanting is what attracted me, the way they chant. They have just one mantra, Namyaho Renge Kyum. Again, there is Ma in there and Om also. So which attracted me. And somehow I am an engineer. My sister is a doctor. So I was very amused by her. And she told me this mantra has like her daughter is also a doctor and her other daughter is also like doing so many things together. So she told me with this mantra, whenever she's in doubts or she's having negative thoughts or in a like situation, this one has helped her. So I was very amused because we are not in like everyday prayer. Also, we are not in that that type of in our house. We don't put our diyas daily. It's like that. So I was very very amused, and I just said, "Kya bakwas hai ye?" So she said, "No, you try once." I said, "Yeah, I liked your chanting. I felt very good when I was hearing you chant." I said, "Why don't you try?" So I tried that, and I felt so good. I just can't tell you. I had not chanted. I am very fond of Gayatri mantra, and it keeps on playing in my early morning when I get up. It plays for 1 to 2 hours. It's on my that recorder. So okay, but now what I have found out is when I chant only for like even if I'm in a fix, if I'm having a very depressed moment, or if I want to do something, I just do chanting and I am out of that depressed mode or negative thoughts, and I'm so energetic and I'm so with all the positive thoughts, I can't tell you. So the mantra, and as you said, the sound, I never tried with any other. So I'm thinking of now doing it. And when I do, I'm in Chakra workshop with Mega Ma'am. And when I do this mental, I tried mental Om for 6 minutes. I'm doing, and at that time I'm focusing on the Agna eyebrow center. Yes, so there I could feel the how someone shared just now their experience that they were in a moment of not knowing where and who she is. The same way, when I did third day, it happened to me. I was just like, I got up from sleep. It was something like that moment. So I think the sound, vibration, the mantra, if you really sit and do it and you focus, it will take you to the other level.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
So adding to this, no offense, but she says that
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Sorry.
uh, she says that she hears Gayatri mantra every morning for 2 hours. So a powerful mantra like Gayatri mantra could not give her any effect, and any other mantra could give her. So I just couldn't understand that mantra is a mantra. It could be like every mantra has some effect. But when the lady is saying that for 2 hours she's listening to Gayatri mantra every day, that could not bring the desired effect which the other mantra could do. So, not able to understand how
Okay,
one mantra is helpful and the other is not.
yeah. My reply is, I'm doing my work. It's just there at the background. I'm not sitting and focusing and chanting. But the other mantra, I sat and I chant. So maybe
Yeah,
that.
so the basic point is that whatever you do with concentration, whatever you do with focus, whatever you do with faith, it gives you benefit. Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
I said.
Yes, yes. And in the correct manner.
Correct. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything, anybody? I think we have overshot time. So if there's nothing else, maybe we can close for the day.